So there's wine in there, but he says, this is blood, my blood. When we talk about the Eucharist, what does the Catholic Church teach about Christ in the Eucharist?
He is present.
He now becomes present. In what form?
Bread and wine.
Bread and wine, but in the bread and wine, what is the form of Christ?
Body.
The body, blood, soul,
and
divinity. So when we say we celebrate the Eucharist and the host is consecrated, we say now Christ physically becomes in the Eucharist. So now if Christ comes, is now present in the Eucharist, that Christ comes in that moment. All of Christ in the past and all of Christ in the future is coming right now, here and now in that Eucharist. So, if the main reason why Christ came to earth was that redemption, to save us, right? So if he now becomes present in the Eucharist, what also now becomes present in the Eucharist?
Death and resurrection.
His death and resurrection.
Amen.
So when Christ becomes present in the Eucharist, now his redemption becomes here and now. It's not just an event that occurred 2,000 years ago. Since Christ is present here and now, from in the past and the future, when he becomes present in the Eucharist, his redemption now becomes present in the Eucharist. His sacrifice becomes present in the Eucharist. Have you ever heard of the Mass? The sacrifice of the Mass? That's why we call it that. It's not that we're sacrificing Christ again. Has anyone been accused by our non-Catholic friends, you sacrifice Christ over and over? We don't. He was sacrificed once and for all. But we still call it the sacrifice of the Mass because now his sacrifice that occurred 2,000 years ago is being made present right here and now. So this is really a cool situation, folks. Instead of us just remembering what happened 2,000 years ago, those people that lived 2,000 years ago, they got a chance to physically experience what Christ did by his dying and rising from the dead. You know, those people there that lived it, just think the apostles, they got to experience what Christ did, his redemption. You know, that's probably the coolest thing that could happen to a person, to experience that. But what Christ now does, because now all time is present, when he comes now in the Eucharist now, he brings that redemption to every one of us. So throughout history now, throughout time, everybody gets to experience his redemption on the cross. Not just the apostles back there. So that's why it's just not a remembrance for us. He makes it present for us. His sacrifice on the cross and his redemption. You got it? It's a little tough to comprehend, but just think how much more meaningful this is. When Christ becomes present, everything about Christ becomes present. Because time is unlimited for him. And just to show you I'm not making this up, let me read from this book for me, okay? Let me tell you what it says here. And I'll just give you the references and you can look them up if you want here. But I just want to say I'm not making this up. Catechism, paragraph 1364. It says that in the New Testament, the memorial takes on new meaning. When the Church celebrates the Eucharist, she commemorates Christ's Passover. And it is made present. His Passover is made present for us at the Eucharist. And it says it's made present. The sacrifice Christ offered once and for all, he offered it once and for all, but it remains ever present. So he makes it present for us. Okay? Paragraph 1366. The Eucharist is thus a sacrifice. We call it the sacrifice because it represents. It makes present the sacrifice of the cross. So it's making present that sacrifice on the cross. In 1367, the sacrifice of Christ and the sacrifice of the Eucharist are one single sacrifice. Right out of the book. I just learned about this to show you how smart I am. I just learned about this several months ago in one of the classes I'm taking. So, it's amazing. The more you learn, the more this stuff has meaning, how much more deep it is. Catholic celebration of the Eucharist is nothing compared to any other Lord's Supper celebration in Klamath Basin. I was just last week at a church where they commemorated the Lord's Supper, where the minister says, "We remember what Christ did for us." Yeah, we do that too. But do you see how infinitely more deep it is when we remember what happened, but then when we take what happened and it becomes present for us? You can't even put a number on how many more times intense that is.
Here's something else to consider, that in this world, somewhere, at any given moment, there is a Mass being celebrated. So there's just constantly a Mass always being celebrated.
And the trivia question, how many times in the world is Mass celebrated each and every day?
600 times. No?
A good guess.
It was close.
300,000!
The
The numbers say around 300,000 times a day Mass is celebrated. So Susan said, at every moment of every day, Mass is being celebrated somewhere in the world.
Except for one day.
Except for, the trivia question. What is the only day in the calendar year where Mass is not celebrated? Good Friday. Good Friday. Very good.
Yeah, I do know one thing. I don't think I know.
Now the 364 other things we're going to work on. No, that's good.
But Good Friday doesn't always fall on the same time everywhere in the world.
You answer that one.
God says it's always present. It's always now. So don't argue with me, the man said so.
That's good. That's a
It's
valid.
tomorrow morning.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
It's tomorrow in
That's true.
Japan.
That's true. That's true.
But they don't have daylight saving time, so that makes an hour difference.
Now we're getting deep. All right. So I just wanted to re-emphasize that to you because it's so cool. A lot of people don't realize it. And the reason why I say this here, I'm really trying to get you what's going on about the Eucharist. You know, you're lucky I don't have one of these things during Mass. You know? You see people go up to communion, they make the turn, and they walk right out the door.
Yeah.
If you understood what was going on here, you know,